Today, the president's brother filing a new lawsuit seeking to permanently block publication of their niece's new book about their family. It comes after a New York court rejected his initial effort, saying it was filed in an improper jurisdiction. That book, titled Too Much and Never Enough: How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man, is scheduled to be published next month. And joining me now is Michael Kranish, investigative reporter for the Washington Post. Michael, big welcome to you. What is happening here, and does this mean this book will definitely be published now?
It's not clear. There's another, they lost in the surrogates court in Queens County. They've now gone to the state Supreme Court. So that's going to be decided soon. Publisher says they're going to go ahead. So July 28th is publication date.
Okay. Any chance this could be blocked between now and July 28th, delayed for the publication and public consumption?
Sure, there's a chance. Depends on what the court decides. The publisher might go ahead and try to put things out anyway, but sure, there's a chance of that.
Okay. Let's get to your latest article, when it says that Mary Trump once stood up to her Uncle Donald. Now her book describes a nightmare of family dysfunction. And then you go on to continue and walk through a lot of this dysfunction. What do we know about this family?
Well, Mary Trump, the thing to remember is that Mary Trump's father, Fred Trump Jr., is the brother of President Trump. Fred Trump Jr. died in 1981 of alcoholism. So it's been a tragedy within the family. And so Mary, the niece of Donald Trump, was 16 years old at the time her father died. She was supposed to be basically taken care of. The family was going to take care of her and her brother. And then when Donald Trump's father died in 1999, there was a big fight over the inheritance. And Mary, basically with her brother, got in a probate fight with Donald Trump and his siblings. And in the end, there was a settlement that was subject to a non-disclosure, which the Trumps are now citing and trying to stop the book. But it was a very bitter feud. And Mary Trump is a very interesting backstory. So I spent a number of days trying to understand who was Mary Trump. She has a background in clinical psychology. She studied schizophrenics. She studied stalkers. So she has a really interesting background. And if you look at the title of the book on the cover, it says Mary L. Trump, PhD. That's in clinical psychology. So the publisher says that she's going to apply her expertise in psychology to analyze her uncle and why she says he's the world's most dangerous man, quote unquote.
Well, in fact, let's read from an excerpt of this book in which it describes Mary saying a nightmare of traumas, destructive relationships, and a tragic combination of neglect and abuse. She explains how specific events and general family patterns created the damaged man who occupies the Oval Office, including the strange and harmful relationship between Fred Trump and his two oldest sons, Fred Jr. and Donald. Look, that sounds pretty explosive. I mean, what are you expecting ultimately out of this book?
Well, I've written a lot about the Trump family over the years, and I'm really interested to see if she has first-hand information where she talks about what happened with her father and Donald Trump and Donald Trump's father, because, as I mentioned, her father died of alcoholism. I interviewed President Trump actually last year for a story for the Post about what happened with Donald Trump's brother, and President Trump told me that he made mistakes in dealing with his brother, and he regrets having tried to pressure his brother into the family business, which some Mary's friend, he may have played a role in the fact that he became an alcoholic and then died at an early age. You know, it's very rare. In fact, I can think of a few instances where Donald Trump has said that he made a mistake and has regrets. This is one of those cases. So understanding the family dynamic here between those two brothers, and then Mary as the daughter seeing all this, helps you understand that there's a lot going on. Then they had this feud later on. Mary Trump said, of course, it's over money. So, you know, there's an awful lot there that perhaps we don't know. Other members of the family really have not spoken negatively about Donald Trump. We don't even see, for the most part, other members of the family, the siblings and so forth, very much. So it's going to be really interesting to see if she really gets into what happened with her father and Donald Trump, and then Fred Trump Sr., Donald Trump's father.
So, Michael, things that specifically have been leaked, have there been specifically responses, denials, anything said by the Trump family to what we've been hearing?
Well, there haven't been, you know, the general description that you showed from the publisher's press release doesn't really provide specifics except a few things. Most of it, we don't know yet what's in the book. Most of it's yet to be known. So we're about a month away from the planned publication date. Maybe within, you know, who knows when that'll happen, or is knowing, you know, real excerpts. But, you know, the Trump family is concerned. This is potentially explosive. Robert Trump, the president's brother, is the one who fought this case 20 years ago when it was in probate court and other courts over the inheritance dispute. And now he is basically trying to file a petition that failed in the surrogate's court in Queens County. And now they're going to state Supreme Court in New York to try to stop this. They say that she agreed to a confidentiality agreement and that she has no right to do this. And her lawyer says, no, it's First Amendment. She does have the right to say what she thinks.
So I guess we're all going to wait and see what happens on July 28th. Anyway, Michael Granish, thank you so much from the Washington Post. 10 times worse than reported, the new study saying